we're going to be drawing our own hands. So you're going to observe your own hands. And the fun part about this is you'll get to pick whatever way you want your hand to be while you're drawing it. I know on our website for our example, we have someone holding a peace sign and they drew their hand with a peace sign. And then what we're going to do is add a scene around it to create some perspective. So ideally what you're going to do is either make it look like your hand is a little teeny tiny hand. So you can basically draw giant ants or something around it. Or you can make it look like your hand is really, really large by adding some perspective that way. So before we start, we're going to do a warm-up called Tulpa. And it's really fun. And what we're doing is utilizing both of our hands and both sides of our brain to just do a quick drawing warm-up. It's going to be kind of difficult to see what I'm doing because you have to use both hands. So I'm going to try to stand off to the side while I do it. But this is just to warm us up, get us ready for our observation and our drawings. So if everyone could grab 2 pencils, you need 2. You could use 2 colored pencils as well. And you're going to get your sheet of paper ready. And what you're going to do, I'll show you how to start, and then you can all start at the same, or as soon as you see what I'm doing. But you're going to put both pencils down on your paper at the same time. And what we're going to do is just do the same thing on each side. So you can draw whatever you feel like drawing. Both pencils are going to be moving at the same time. And we're just going to do this for a couple minutes. And during this couple minutes, everyone should be drawing the whole time. I'm using colored pencils because they're a little bit darker so you can kind of see what I'm doing. But we're activating our brain power.
Rhiannon, could you just give a real quick recap if anyone came in late?
I can. So we are warming up with what is called a tulpa. So you're just doing exactly what I'm doing. We're using both sides of the brain to just create this fun little abstract drawing. So you're moving both hands at the same time. And this is just the warm-up. So this isn't the whole project. We're going to do this for just a couple minutes. Just challenge yourself to try to, you can even try to create a face. You can add some detail. And I'll explain the actual project as soon as we're done with this warm-up a little bit. Again, for those of you that may have come in a little bit later. I'm just making some areas darker. But these are so fun because sometimes you can create these little characters, and then later on, if you hang on to these, you can add some other details into it. Like if I saw these as eyes, I could take this later and add some pupils in here. I could find an area to add a face. It reminds me of some sort of furry animal right now. So how's everyone doing? Anyone got any examples that they want to show? Oops, switched. Gonna add some. The fun part is trying to do a different thing on each side. So if you try to go one way, but try to do a different shape on the other side, it gets a little challenging. And that is a tulpa. So if everyone wants to go ahead and stop now, let's see some examples. Let's see what other people were able to draw. Oh my gosh, Samantha. Did you use both your hands? Nice. Very cool.
Wow.
That's so awesome. Emily and Sophia.
I wasn't really paying attention, so I just said that it looked like someone's hair when they wake up.
That's
up.
so awesome. Oh, that's so cool. I love your person. So cool. Awesome. Thanks for sharing, ladies.
Gonna spotlight Tater Tot.
Tater Tot. Oh, very nice. Very nice. You use 2 different colors, right? Yeah, nice. It's kind of challenging. Cool. Thanks for showing. You have something? Oh, I love it. That's so awesome. I like how you did one with a frowny and one with a happy face. Does Heather Rose have something she wants to share too?
No, I think she's still working.
Okay. Anybody else? Are those the only cameras that we have on right now?
I'll share.
Is that Judy?
That's Judy. Oh, I don't have my camera on. I don't think. Do I?
There she is.
We see you.
Yeah.
Oh,
Little bug.
awesome. They're
Oh, wow.
little bugs. Awesome. Well, now that we are nice and warmed up and ready to go, we're going to get a new sheet of paper out. So if everyone recalls from our class on Monday, we kind of talked about when we draw observations and when we're practicing drawing in our sketchbook, usually a lot of things from life, you start to see the different shapes that create an object. And it's the same thing with hands. So if you were able to download that PDF from the website, great. I would just look at it for reference right now. If you didn't get a chance to print it out, that's okay too. You can check it out on the website a little bit later, but perfect. Thank you, Samantha. Yeah, that's the PDF that everybody should have access to. We're strictly using that for reference today. So of course, when you're drawing your own hand, you might not be able to use this all the way because your hand will be in a different gesture. But if you look at the spreadsheet itself, you can see that everything is in a different shape to begin with. Scott, am I able to do I have access to screen share since not everybody has it?
You should be able to on the bottom. Do you see the little green icon?
Okay, perfect. Let me do that real quick for everybody just so you can see what I have. Can everyone see the screen share?
Yes. Okay, we can see it.
Awesome. Okay. So as you can see, you have different shapes that start to build up. So right here, you have this interesting little shape, and then you add this triangle, right? That begins to become the palm and the back of your hand. This little area is that space between your index finger and your thumb. And then you end up having these little cylinder shapes that you start to create your fingers with. And then you start adding the details afterwards. So even not just with cartooning or animation, anything in real life, anything that's a life drawing or from observation, it can still start with shapes. And sometimes that's a little bit easier to reference when you're drawing something that maybe you haven't had a lot of experience drawing. So if you want to start it that way, you're welcome to. Another way, let me grab my pencil just to get ready. Another way that I try to do it is I usually use circles. Not sure if what anyone else uses, but I always start with circles. I don't know why. That's just always what I've done. So now what you can do is kind of pick, you're gonna hold your hand out and you're gonna be looking at your hand the whole time you draw. I have an idea of what I'm drawing, so I'm gonna try to hold my hand in a way that I'd wanna draw it. And what I'm thinking about right now is how I'm gonna add some perspective to my drawing. So what I'm gonna actually do, just so you know what I'm thinking, is I'm gonna draw my hand sort of in like a cup form, because I'm gonna make my hand look huge by drawing the earth in the center of it. So that's how I'm gonna add perspective. I'm gonna make my hand ginormous, and you're gonna be able to tell because I'm gonna draw the earth small in the palm of my hand. So it's Earth Week, Earth Month, right? So I'm drawing the earth because I love the earth and nature and everything. So you're gonna start something like that. So kind of think about how you want to add perspective. If you want to make your hand look really, really tiny in your image, what are some things you can draw around it to make it look teeny tiny? Like I said before, as an example, you could draw giant ants to make it look like your hand is this little minuscule thing. And think about the position that you want your hand in to draw it. So it is a little, I'm gonna probably be moving back and forth, but I'm gonna hold my hand out so I can see what I'm doing while I'm drawing. And like I said, I always start with circles. You can start with triangles. Like if I draw this area right here, you can kind of make that a triangle itself. I'm not sure if everyone's able to see that. But if I were to do that, then I'd start to get a shape like this. Something like that. It's a little light, sorry.
Yeah, it's a little light, the pencil lines.
So I have a little angle like that. And then what I do after that is start to add some detail. So of course, my hand is not a geometric shape, right? So I'm gonna start to add a little bit of detail. And we have some muscle in our fingers, right? So you have these areas that kind of round off. They're not angular. So I'm going to draw that little bit of area right here. And what I'll do is I'll just go back in later and erase some of these lines. But I'll draw them pretty dark for you all right now. And the way my thumb is, this is how I usually start to draw the circles. So here's the tip of my thumb.
Rhiannon, it's a little difficult to see the lines.
Sorry. Hold on, let me draw this out and then I'll show everybody.
Okay, thank you.
Luckily, I have Scott here to remind me that when I sketch, you're all staring at a computer and you can't really see. So my thumb, I have this circle right here to create the shape of the tip of my thumb. And then I will go in and start to add details like the angle of my knuckle and then where this part of my thumb shows up here. So I'll start to connect everything that way. And if you're comfortable, you don't have to follow along with me. You can just go ahead and start drawing away on your hand. But now what I'll do, I'll have to go back and fix some of these angles a little bit. Like right now, I'm going to spread out my thumb a little bit more. So I have my thumb a little too far in. So I'm going to take it back out this way. And another thing, and I'm sure you've heard this in some of the other Zoom classes that we've all taught, Lee, Ben, and I, but another thing you can do, another tip, is using your pencil to kind of figure out the angle that your thumb or that your fingers are in. So if you just hold your pencil out like that, and you start to angle it with the angle your hand is going, and then you bring it back to your pen or your paper. That way you can see what that angle actually should look like. Okay, so now I've got My fingers are just above my thumb over here. And now I'm going to draw, so I have a circle for the tip of my finger that I'm drawing. If you can't see it, I'll hold it up in just a second. And then I have some areas, I'm just going to draw out where my knuckles lay. That way I know where my hand should be connecting. And this should even go up a little bit higher. So I'm drawing small details right now. Sorry, Scott, what were you gonna say?
I was just asking if you could explain again what we're doing. Some people came in late.
Yeah, no worries. So we are doing hand observations right now. Now, what we're gonna end up doing is drawing more in the background and the scene of our image to put our hands in a different perspective. So what that means is we're either going to draw things in our background that make our hand look like it's gigantic, or we're going to draw things that make it look like our hand is really tiny. And that's really up to you. What I'm doing right now is drawing my hand in a little cup form, and I'm going to add some planets around it. That way it makes it look like my hand is gigantic. And so I'm just fixing a little area real quick because I had my index finger taller than my middle finger. And with my hands, that's not the case. So I'm just adjusting that a little bit here. And sometimes when you're doing observations, a lot of it is going back and forth and looking at different areas again, and that's okay. Because you'll
As a question, do we have to do the same hand pose?
No, you do your own. Does anyone want to share in the chat some ideas that they have for their hand? Maybe some gestures they're doing for their hand, just to give other people some ideas if they came in a little later. If not, that's totally okay too. I shared what I'm doing, but yeah, you certainly don't have to do exactly what I'm doing.
Emily and Sophia say sushi motion.
Sushi motion.
Like you could draw it like this. So when you use sushi,
Make sushi.
You'd want to do this motion.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's how you're going to draw it?
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Do you have any ideas of what you're going to do for your background?
Maybe we could draw like some sushi in the background, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Like sushi wallpaper, maybe.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Tater Tot says grabbing something and balancing something on a finger.
Nice.
And Liliana is kind of doing what Rhiannon is doing.
Awesome.
Somewhat. Megan's doing a peace sign.
Oh, very cool. All right, and as I'm drawing from observation too, while I'm looking at my hand, I just have general shapes happening right now. But I'm drawing these little creases in my hand, so.
Okay, so just watch what she does then. It's pretty cool to watch her, huh?
So what I'm doing is when you look at your hand,
Look at your hand. Just stop.
If you fold your finger like this, you can already see the creases where your folds of skin are, right? So that's kind of what I'm doing too, to show where that is on my hand. That way while I'm drawing, I can check my scale, I can kind of make sure my angle is matching up. You just want to be careful that you don't lose your position too much, because then your drawing changes a little bit.
Amin is doing the OK hand symbol.
Oh, nice. And really take your time to look at your hand. Look at the different, you have fingerprints, right? You have all these lines and crevices. And everyone's is so unique. Everyone's is so different. So really take time to just kind of look at it. So I have all these little areas right here, right? This area of skin where between my thumb and my index finger, where I have all these nice folds. So I can take a second to try to capture what that looks like. And depending on what position you decided to draw your hand, it's going to look different for everybody. I'm really excited to see everyone's.
Rhiannon, what would you say to someone that might think that they're bad at this?
Well, the first thing is that if you don't observe a lot, if you don't draw your own hands are really important in my opinion, and are a really great thing to practice in a sketchbook, especially because you can come up with a lot of different gestures for your hands. Your hands can say a lot of different things. For example, the OK sign that Amin is doing, and then how someone's doing a peace sign. If you have your hand holding something, whatever that is, it takes a lot of practice, first of all, when you're sketching out things from life. But also, while you're in the beginning stages of drawing something, it's not going to look like a hand right away. So I would never, it's easier said than done, of course. As artists, we're all very hard on ourselves. We're all perfectionists in our own ways. But when you're first beginning a drawing, there is no need to start to pass judgment on what you're drawing right now, especially because it's just a bunch of shapes and you're starting to connect it and add detail. And the more you add detail and add more shading, the more realistic it's going to start to look. The other thing that I always love, and I feel like a lot of people can relate to this, especially if they love drawing, but it's really hard to find a time. Like, I don't think an artwork is ever entirely finished. I don't know if anyone can relate to that, but whenever I'm drawing anything, I mean, I could keep working on one thing for forever. I could keep going back to it. I can keep figuring out ways that I could change it. And you kind of just have to decide when the artwork's over or when it's done. You have to pick it, you know? I feel like we can never figure out a time that our drawings are done. Can anyone else relate to that? Does everyone, I always feel like that when I'm drawing.
Yeah, I see some hands up.
Yeah, because you go back to it. If you put it away, the next day you go to it, you're like, oh, I could change this. I could put this here. I could add this little shadow here. So it's really, really important.
I want to go back. Megan mentioned that hands are one of the hardest things to draw. And I don't know if anyone knows this, but Chuck Jones actually thought that same thing, that hands were one of the hardest things to draw.
Yes, yeah. They are. And they're so interesting. And like I said, they can say so much just in the gesture that they're in. Whenever I draw in my sketchbook, I do make a point every now and then to just draw my hand in a different position. Just because I do feel like it's important to keep practicing drawing hands. And they are so difficult. When I first started drawing a lot, when I was younger, I would draw these little characters and I would avoid the hands entirely. Like I would draw these like little balls as a hand. I don't know if anyone else would do that. And then I just had to push myself. And like I said, we're our own worst critics. So of course, when you're looking at your own drawing, you're going to be harder on yourself than anyone else is. Just try not to, while we're drawing in the beginning, I encourage you to challenge yourself to not make any judgments about your work right now, especially at the very beginning. Because you haven't added anything yet. So like right now I'm starting to try to go in and add some more detail, like with the lines for my knuckles. I'm going to start adding areas where my fingernails are. And if you were in the class on Monday, one of the things I talked about is like really encouraging you to look at things as shapes as opposed to, like right now I'm drawing fingernails. So instead of looking at it as my fingernail and it has to look exactly like a fingernail, I start to look at it as like, okay, well, that's like a rectangle. So I'm just simply going to draw a rectangle. And it kind of takes away the pressure of trying to make it look exactly like what you see. Our eyes deceive us a lot too while we're drawing and observing. And while I'm talking, I keep moving my hand, and I have to remember that I'm changing the position. Gotta find the original.
Samantha's.
What?
Spotlighting Samantha.
Oh, Samantha, that's awesome. And see, I like the way that you chose to do just your hand in a regular motion like that with a snake around it. That's really cool. Thanks for sharing. And so like Megan had a great example of like she has a general area of her hand, right? She got the layout and now she's starting to draw the snake, but the snake wasn't even complete. She's just drawing some motions of where the snake is going to go, and then she's going to go back in and add the detail of what that snake is going to look like. And that's kind of what we do with everything. And then remember what I said in the beginning too, like when you're observing things, you're probably going to go back and look at different areas that you've already drawn and change it a little bit. And that's okay. You start to see things a little differently when you actually start putting it down on paper and adding more details. There's areas of my finger that I'm realizing are actually bent a different way. Unless I've changed my position again. You know, I don't know. But I love, hands are amazing too because they have all these different bends and folds, and they have their own details. They're all unique for each person. I've got a ring on my finger, so I'm even adding that in the detail too. All right, so I kind of got like a general, go back and fix the back of my hand a little bit again. And start to pay attention too, where there's like a little bit of shading and some shadow, where you have these little folds in your hand. There's going to be a little bit of shading in there. You know, part of my thumb, has a little bit of shadow cast on it because the other side of my fingers are casting that shadow. So I'm going to add a little bit of that in there. And then I got some shadow in between my fingers too. And the way that the light is, at least at my house right now, there's not a ton of shading. So I probably won't have to add a lot, but I do want to add a little bit of that detail, because it also helps make your hand look a little bit more three-dimensional too. And here we go. See, I'm going back to areas that I've already drawn just because I start to see different things. All right, I'm actually going to stop working on my hand just to start adding a little bit of perspective. So here's a start. I'm going to go back in and adjust some things. And I might go back into, my thumb is looking a little larger than my fingers, so I'll probably go back in and adjust that. But I just want to show you. So now I'm just going to draw a circle here. And like I said, if you've already started drawing some stuff to add the perspective, some different items in your background, that's great. So you'll probably have time to add a little bit of color too. Unless you like it to have this little sketchy look, then that's great. It does look pretty cool like that. All right, so I'm gonna add these little areas so you can tell I'm drawing the earth. All right, got my drawing going here. All right, and maybe I'll just add a little bit of color right now. Another thing that you can do too is if you want to just emphasize a certain area of your drawing, you could add color in one area too. So if you just want to emphasize, I could just, if I add emphasis and just want the viewer to focus on the earth, I could just add color to the earth too and leave my hand this gray and white. So I'm going around this area. How's everybody doing? Does anyone want to show some examples of what they've done?
Nissy has her hand up.
Nissy, let's see it.
Okay, it looks kind of weird.
Ooh, very cool. What do you have going on the arm right there?
Oh, well, it's a snake bracelet.
Very cool. What are you going to draw some things in the background too?
I don't know.
You don't know? Looks really cool. Thanks for sharing.
You're welcome.
I'm gonna jump over to Amin.
Oh, look at that. Very nice. Very nice. I like the detail. You're starting to add detail in the knuckles. I see a little bit of shading happening. Really cool. What are some things you're going to do in your background? Do you know yet?
I don't know.
Not yet. No worries. Thanks for sharing.
Oh, Samantha has her hand up.
Oh, look at that progress.
Yeah, I added a bit more details on the snake.
I like the detail in the head. That's looking really cool. It'll look really nice if you start adding shading where the snake is on the hand too.
That's actually what I'm starting to do.
Awesome. Cool. Great job, Samantha.
I'm gonna jump over to Tater Tot.
Tater tot. Awesome. Is that a building? Super cool. Very nice. That's a great drawing.
And Liliana and Heather Rose.
Hey, ladies. Oh, awesome. I see Saturn at the tip of your finger. Very cool. I like that. I like that the sun is right there too. Really cool. What about you, Heather Rose? Oh, very nice. I like the animals that you chose to draw around it. And you did another one. So cool. Thanks for sharing. Did someone else have their hand up or no? Did I see that?
I don't see any more hands right now.
Okay, cool. All right, I'm going to keep adding color. Is everyone excited for the weekend?
Yes.
Awesome.
I see some people nodding their heads and I see some thumbs up.
Me too. I'm reading a great book right now, and I just want to keep reading it.
Megan says yes, completely and totally in all capital letters.
I don't know. You don't seem that excited. Just kidding.
Tater Tot says he's going to draw all day.
Nice. Yeah, break out those sketchbooks. It's so nice because when you get lost in a drawing or in your sketchbook, time goes by so fast. Like these classes, sometimes when we're doing them, oh my gosh. Can't believe how quickly the hour goes by. Right. I'm almost done adding color to my earth here. Actually, I might see if our pool's available this weekend because it's hot. Wasn't ready for it. It's getting used to the rain again. Okay, just about done here. And just want to add a little bit more dark areas. Another trick to checking it reminded me because I keep looking in the camera and I see my drawing in the background too. But another trick, if you want to check your angle and your perspective on drawing, you hold your image or your drawing up to a mirror. And then you can kind of see, like if you're drawing shapes, for example, you can see if your shapes are even or if your lines are straight by holding it up to a mirror. It's a great way to do it. You can keep using that as your check. So, got the blue in there. And draw some green. Anyone got any fun movies they're going to be watching this weekend? A bunch of people did movie night last weekend.
We finally watched Onward.
Did you like it?
From your recommendation. Yeah, it was really cute.
Isn't it? It's a fun little treasure hunting type movie. I mean, they're not looking for
Maleficent, Mistress of Evil.
Ooh, I haven't seen that. Is that the new one with Angelina Jolie? Well, I guess it's not really new anymore.
Nissy has her hand up.
Nissy?
Me and my friends are gonna have a virtual all-nighter.
Oh, very nice. Do you have any plans, or are you just gonna talk and hang out?
Well, we're gonna watch movies. We're gonna play Uno. We're gonna play Truth or Dare. We're gonna do a lot of things.
That's so cool. That's a good idea. You know, we're gonna have a Zoom birthday party tonight for my uncle and my cousin because they share the same birthday. And then it's my father-in-law's birthday on Monday, and we're gonna have a little birthday party too, which will be cool. So.
Emily and Sophia have their hand raised.
So this is the sushi motion so far. So there's the sushi.
Awesome. Look at the little sushi.
But when you do the sushi motion, your hand's almost in a piece. So that's what I drew.
Awesome.
There. I'll show what you have. But I haven't colored it in yet.
Oh, very nice.
So I'm not sure what kind of sushi it's gonna be.
What's your favorite kind?
I like any kind of sushi. This is my hand so far.
Awesome. Are you doing the same? Are you doing the same thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Very cool. I really love any sushi with salmon or some sort of spice, like spicy tuna. So good. So good. And any kind with shrimp tempura too. That's very good. Like a crunch roll.
Yeah.
Those are yummy. Very cool. How are we doing?
Hey. Wait, no, I didn't get the FU restaurant. Sorry. Five Guys?
Who's talking about Five Guys?
We're doing a guessing restaurants thing.
Oh, okay. That would be a great
So you put it on mute.
Oh, no worries. That'd be a great thing to draw for perspective, though, is a little tiny hamburger in your hands, too.
I think Megan wanted to share hers.
Megan, let's see it. Oh, that's awesome. Very nice. What else? Are you going to draw anything else for the background too? What are you thinking? You don't know yet? No worries, no worries. Sometimes it comes as we go, right? As we're drawing, we get some more ideas. All right. So, just draw that. Still adding some color to my earth here. Okay, there we go. All right. What do you guys think? Just keep the earth color or add some color to the hand too? I'm definitely going to go in and fix some of the perspective a little bit, but. Okay. And that.
Tater Tot says, I think if you added some purple/blue shading, it would look really nice.
Thank you. Love the idea. Okay, I think pretty much done with the earth. I'm going to add a little bit here. Sticks with my color scheme too if I do that for shading. Just the blue and the green. You could probably tell some of us are hard at work because we got pencil on our hands.
Gonna spotlight Samantha.
Awesome. Oh, look at that color. It looks so good.
Yep, it's green and then bright red.
I love it. I love the detail. Really cool. Thanks for sharing. I even like the bottom, the little detail that you did at the bottom with the tail. Yeah, that's really neat. Very nice, very nice. Megan, bro. All right. Anyone else want to show any? Oh, the Amin? Is that how you say it? How do you say your name?
It's Amin. Yeah.
Amin.
So here's my.
Oh, really cool. Did you change it up a little bit?
Yeah.
Wow.
Awesome. I like the details. What motion are your fingers in at the top?
Well, it's sort of in like a. Well, yeah. It's sort of in like a. I don't really know how to describe it.
That's okay.
I don't know.
Something like that, though? That's cool. Very nice. Thank you for sharing. All right, just adding a little bit more. Okay, so my dog might bark, so I'm gonna mute for just a second, everybody. Okay, I think we're in the clear. Just would hate for her echoing bark to pierce everybody's ears. Okay, adding a little bit more. All right, so now got most of the color done on my earth. I'm gonna fix a couple edges here. Okay. So I'm gonna do this. See, now I'm using my camera to check my my circle's not really a circle, so I'm fixing it a little bit.
Emily and Sophia say they're done.
Awesome. Can we see them?
I'm not seeing video though. Oh,
No
there
video?
they are.
Let's see those sushis.
We were just talking. So
Oh, you're just talking. Oh, nice.
the same.
Okay. Okay, cool.
I think I'm just added in a little. Yeah.
Oh, very nice. You got the two fingers going?
Mm.
So cool. I could see like little sushi rolls around your hand, almost like it's like dreaming about sushi or something like that. Awesome.
Very cool.
Cool, ladies.
Isaac
I
had
like.
his hand up.
Oh, Isaac.
So I got done with my hand a little bit early and wasn't too into what I drew, so I decided to make something else.
Oh, hey, that's me. Really cool. Thanks, Isaac.
Yeah.
Awesome. Getting some observation practice in anyway.
Exactly.
Very cool.
All right. So now that I got my earth here, I'm good. One thing I could do too is start adding some shading right underneath on my hand here to show that the earth is in my hand. That'd be another thing I could add. So you can think of, you can look at your drawings that way, like Samantha with her snake. That would be a great thing. She's already working on the shading around the snake, so it looks like it is actually on the hand. Those are some other details you could start to add. Oh, just sharpened my pencil, so it's extra sharp. All right, so now I'll go back in, and like I said, I'm going to add some shading. Just where some areas where, so when if you want to do that, you just want to kind of pick an area where you think where your light source would be coming from. So say I had a light source up here shining down this way, the shadow is going to be cast over here primarily. So I wouldn't really add that much shadow over on this side because the light source would be coming this way. So you kind of just want to choose one general area that your light source would be coming from. I'm just cleaning up this side of my drawing real quick because I'm spreading the graphite all over. There we go. So here, the closer, like where the object and my finger are touching, I'm going to make that a little bit darker, and then practice my value a little bit and kind of take the pressure off my pencil the further I get away from the object itself. So in these areas where my fingertips are touching, they're just going to be a little bit darker. And I can even add some shading down here, just a little bit. Does anyone else like to draw hands in a sketchbook? Anyone practice that a lot?
A little bit.
A little bit? Like I said, it's just a good challenge every now and then. I was drawing a self-portrait the other day with someone else, and it had been a while since even I'd done a self-portrait. So it was nice to get some practice in.
I'm gonna spotlight Amin.
Oh, look at that. Are you using a pen or just your pencil?
Pencil. It's a 2B pencil.
Awesome. I love the shading. How you're pushing the darkness in your fingers, it makes it look really interesting. Really nice job. I love that.
Okay, thank you.
Actually, Scott, can you go back so I can take a pic? I want to take a picture of some of these
Oh,
people's
yeah.
work.
Absolutely. So cool.
Really cool. All right. And oh my gosh, wait, see, we only have 1 minute left. Can I see some examples again real quick so I can take some pictures?
So I'm gonna show Samantha's first. I saw hers go up first.
Cool. Awesome. Thanks, Samantha. You all did
Misty.
so good.
This one's mine.
Awesome. I love it. Thanks, Misty.
Megan, and then Judy.
Megan. Oh, I love these. So cool.
Here's Judy's.
Oh, love it, Judy. Thank
Wow.
you so much. Love it.
Tater Tot.
Oh, these are so cool. You're all so amazing. And I'm not just saying that. Really, really cool.
Is there
Okay.
anything else? I think that's it.
Okay, cool. So real quick, before you all sign off, just like last weekend, we're going to have our next classes posted this weekend. So check by Sunday so you can see the times that we have everything scheduled. I'll still be at the same time at noon, but I'll be back Monday, Wednesday, Friday again this week. So keep your eye out. I know we've got some really cool drawing projects coming up. I'm going to be working with a lot of color next week, which will be really fun. So I won't give too much away. It'll be a surprise. Does anyone want to share right before we sign off? Because that's the class. That's it.
Oh, here's Samantha's.
Oh, awesome. Oh, look at the blue at the bottom. So good. Oh, very good. Sign your work. Awesome. Okay, everyone. Well, seriously, you all did so good. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm glad you got an opportunity to observe your hands and draw those. If you don't do it a lot, I definitely encourage you to keep going and finish whatever drawings you have. If you're still working, please finish them and post pictures because I want to see them.
Emily and Sophia had their
I'm
hand
not really doing, so I signed my name here.
Awesome.
Put a line under it, but I'm going to erase part of it. And then for the background, I'm just going to do some swirly lines like that.
Ooh, that's cool.
It's really easy to do.
They're so
Just go
fun.
in and out with the lines.
So
And I've
cool.
added some lines to my fingers.
Oh, awesome. Yes. all that detail. Really cool, ladies. Thank you so much. All right, everybody. Well, it was awesome to see you. Have a great weekend. Do something fun. I'll see you all next week.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.